Louisiana lawmakers challenge a move by the White House to have the current head of FEMA as the next Secretary of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Now, this comes amid issues dealing with flood maps. Republican Senator David Vitter of Louisiana joins us now with more on this letter that he and Senator Landrieu sent to President Obama. Good morning.
Good morning, Liz. Good to be with you.
Thank you. For those who are not keeping up with this, because not a couple of weeks back I did a story, and a lot of people think that these flood maps really only impact those who are living outside the flood protection system, but you say this is an issue that impacts everyone. What is the crux of the issue?
This will impact all of South Louisiana and, importantly, many other places around the country. New flood maps are coming out. FEMA needs to get it right. Just a few weeks ago they didn't get it right. They still released new flood maps for Orleans, Jefferson, and St. Bernard without yet being able to properly map all of the flood control features. And so we want FEMA to do its job and make sure it gets it right before releasing these new maps, and we have work to do in Congress as well. But on the FEMA side, that's why we wrote President Obama today. Mary Landrieu and I together wrote President Obama. Craig Fugate, the head of FEMA, is being considered for a promotion to become Secretary of Homeland Security. And we're basically saying, wait a minute, time out. Before that is even considered, he needs to fulfill his responsibilities at FEMA. FEMA needs to do its job right with regard to all of this Biggert Waters flood mapping issue.
So basically, you and the senator, a Democrat and Republican, teaming up, basically saying he can't even do his job as it is right now, and because of actions taken by his department, some Louisianians and elsewhere across the country will be paying much higher flood rates because they don't have the maps right. They're just not right. So how can he do a bigger job is what you're saying?
We're just saying first things first. He has a lot of challenges with regard to this flood insurance issue at FEMA. So first things first, we need to focus on that before he's considered for a promotion. And we said specifically that we would use everything available to us under the Senate rules to make sure that happens. In other words, we can certainly slow down that process if the nomination happens until FEMA does its job, first things first.
How did you learn of the nomination, and basically how could he become the next Secretary of Homeland?
Well, he's not been nominated yet, but he's clearly on a short list, and that's common knowledge in Washington. That's a presidential appointment, a presidential nomination, completely up to President Obama. However, it has to be confirmed by the Senate, and that's where Mary Landrieu and I come in.
And so far, have you had any sort of direct response from him saying, I understand the concern? I mean, or have you been dealing with people below him, so to speak?
I've certainly talked to Craig directly. I'm sure Senator Landrieu has, but I don't think he's fully personally engaged, and that's part of the frustration. And we've specifically asked him for several things, including proactive proposals for Congress to consider as well, and FEMA is really not leading the way on that.
And what happens next? You've sent this letter to the president, and coming from Senator Landrieu as well, teaming up with you, hopefully that will get the president's attention, that you'll be working together.
Hopefully it certainly gets the president's attention, and just as importantly, it gets Craig Fugate's attention, and says, and they both say, we need to figure this out, we need to solve this up front, because it can certainly cause political problems down the line.
And October is the time frame that it's supposed to all kick in?
More or less. It really varies depending on when flood maps come up for a particular parish. So it's a little more complicated than that, but certainly October is a very significant time frame.
And do you think, I mean, I understand, I know that Senator Landrieu said she was trying to get down one of the key FEMA people here to look at the improvements. Will that make a difference?
David Miller is coming. The whole delegation invited him. He's coming in early August, and we're all going to be part of that visit. That should make a difference, but it's a constant push to get FEMA fully engaged, fully involved, and fully committed to doing certain things right, starting with their mapping.
Okay, thank you so much, Senator Vitter, and keep us up to date on what happens next, because it impacts so many of us. Thank